placed the order for this book 9 months ago. As soon as this book was announced, like, I pre-ordered it. So I'm so excited to finally be reading Just Friends by Haley Pham. This is one of my most anticipated releases for 2026, and it's on my 2026 TBR. I am so excited. Now, Haley Pham, this is her debut novel, but she is a very well-known book content creator. I feel like her having that title, for some reason, gave people the idea that they could just be crazy critical of this book. And so I have heard very mixed reviews of this from people who have read this book already, but I wanted to completely ignore those, go into this with zero expectations, but I just want to be excited. I'm not going to let my mood and my excitement be dampened by people who really didn't like this book for some reason, for whatever reason. Now, all that I know about this book is that you're following Blair and Declan. They were like childhood sweethearts, I think, and then something happened and then they broke up and now they don't talk to each other anymore. But Blair has to return back to their hometown because her aunt is sick. She decides that she's going to get a job at a coffee shop while she's there. And who manages the coffee shop? Of course, Declan does. Of course he does, you know, because of course. So I'm super excited about this. I haven't read like a contemporary romance in a little bit. I did start this book today while I was at work. I read about 15 pages. Not to flex or anything. I do already have like a couple things dog-eared. I thought I'd go ahead and share those with you. So Blair has actually just graduated from college. She had this job set up that she was super excited for. But, you know, hearing that her aunt is ill, that she's not doing well, has thrown a huge wrench in her plans. And so she's just kind of reflecting on like where she is at in her life and where her friends are, comparing their lives kind of. She says, "Their futures are unfolding while mine feels like it's snapping backward. Freshly moved into a tiny house at the back of a mansion I had no merit in earning. Back to square one in my hometown. The irony is jarring. My friends are the mansion, I am the guest house." Like, in the context of like when I was reading that, I was like, wow, that is like such an interesting way to like describe that feeling of like feeling that you're behind all of your peers, that everyone is moving forward without you and you're either like stuck standing still or maybe you even feel like you're moving backwards. So Blair just walked into the coffee shop to ask for the job, and she sees the girl who's like manning the register. You get this quote: "She looks like she just celebrated the birthday that made her old enough to work here." And I just thought that that was an interesting way of saying that she looked young. This cover is like so cute too. I love it. I promise to share all of my real and raw reactions, or at least reenact them for you. Y'all, in my excitement about this book, I didn't even notice that it's a paperback. Usually when books are being traditionally published, which this is, it's an Atria book, they come out in hardcover first because those are more expensive, and then like a year later they get published again in paperback. But this one immediately in paperback, which is just awesome. I love a hardcover book, but paperbacks are sometimes just easier to read. We love that. It's a really nice day outside, so I thought I'd come outside and do some reading. Got a little friend here too.
And another little friend here too.
Oh.
I'm headed out.
Whoa. Anyways, it's a nice day out, so I thought I'd come outside and get some reading done. I think I'm on page like 75, 76. Something happened that I was not expecting to happen already. I read it and I was like, hello? That's like way earlier in the book than I was expecting that event. But I am enjoying it a lot. And look at this cute little artwork on the chapters. Like, that's so cute and I love it. It makes the book feel like more whimsical and fun. Can we bring those back? Can we bring back chapter art? Oh, and something I noticed that I wanted to show are these like really pretty like inside covers. You don't usually see these in paperbacks. they're really pretty and really fun. I'm enjoying this. Yesterday, my intention was to try my hardest to finish Just Friends. However, I definitely fell asleep. I read maybe like 10 pages. So, we're gonna see how much I can read of this today. I'm confused because there's still currently 90 pages left of the book. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen in those 90 pages. I'm confused. So I guess this is where things get dicey again. Say that's what happened, but I'm kind of starting to think that's not really what happened because nobody's like mentioned that up until now in talks, so I'm kind of thinking that that's not actually true. I knew it. I knew there was something fishy happening. She was fishy. I think I know what's about to happen. So I finished Just Friends by Haley Pham. I gave this a 3.5 stars. I think I'm happy with that rating. There were some parts where I was giggling and kicking my feet. Specifically the scenes where they were being super cute. I just loved those parts. However, there were other parts that simply just fell flat for me. There were so many emotional subplots to this book that we really didn't get to dive into any of them and see any depth to them. We really just got surface level information and surface level resolutions. Because of that, I really just didn't care about those subplots because I really didn't get to see the inner workings of Blair's mind enough for it to really sink in and cause me to care about it. I think if we had pared down on the number of emotional subplots and really got to dig into the inner workings and the details of those, I would have cared more. So that's why I gave it a 3.5 stars because, you know, there were parts that I really did like, but there were parts that I just couldn't have cared less about. If you are simply looking for a cutesy little romance to read super quick, I would recommend this because, like I said, the scenes between Declan and Blair were so cute. I loved them. I loved Declan's character. And it is a clean romance, so that's a plus too. Now, having read this book, I do see where the mixed reviews are coming from because while the romance in this is really great, it is lacking that extra layer that gives a book its emotional depth. But I would say that I enjoyed it more than I didn't, which is why I give it a 3.5 stars. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below your most anticipated release that comes out really soon. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time.